Well, hello, hello, hello. It is Friday, and I'm back with another episode of the Roundtable. And as y'all already know, I'm always excited to have my guests on. And tonight I have with me Anthony Dupree, which is the owner and founder of Dupree's Transportation Services.
And
All right.
executive black car services.
And executive black car services. So tonight, if y'all have not watched or have not seen the promotion, we are talking about this business being more than a ride. We're going to talk about the business, the branding, and the BS, okay? And we have somebody that's been doing it long enough, and he can tell you about all of that. Um, oh God. If you're watching, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Feel free to comment. Tell me where you're watching from. You can ask questions. Me and him will answer them. If it's for him, if it's for me, we'll answer them live and share this live. Somebody needs to see it. So don't just think about yourselves. So with no further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Anthony Dupree and let him introduce himself and tell y'all what it is that he do. How you doing this evening, Mr. Dupree?
So I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. So excited for you having me on tonight.
Thank you for being on.
Hey! I wouldn't be no other place but right here, sitting in the chair right in my house right now. It's a pleasure. The pleasure's all mine, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, like I said, my name is Anthony Dupree. Everybody know me as Dupree. Actually, I'm a business owner, probably going on about 27 years now plus. Officially, off the record, probably got about 30 years into transportation, dealing with basic transportation, medical transport, courier service. We do group shuttle, party buses. We do black car service, which is pretty much proms, weddings. We do night out on the town. We do executive. We do artists. We do anything dealing with luxury transportation. That's for the black car service. So I cover everything transportation except for coach buses. I don't do coach buses. I don't do anything, like charter buses. I do have people I recommend, but for his hands-on, it's basic medical transport, private, no Medicaid run, straight private. Maybe still doing about 15 to 20% taxi cab, and I explain to you why I'm pretty much getting away from the actual taxi service. But most of mine now is just medical transport, commercial transport, and group shuttle, along with courier service.
Oh wow! So you see, he is the transportation king right here. He do it all.
Transportation guru.
Oh, there we go. Transportation guru. All right. So tell the people, what area do you service? I mean, I know you're local to me, but
yep. I'm basically quite as a cab. I actually service all of Eastern North Carolina. Basically, and believe it or not, unfortunately, a bigger percentage of my business is actually in the Raleigh-Durham area, up in the Durham area, obviously the Pitt County area. But I service probably about 120 counties. Actually, I have satellite drivers that I actually employ that actually use their own vehicles, and actually I do have vehicles that I supply them as well out of town. But I actually service probably from Elizabeth City all the way up to Charlotte, and everything in between.
And everything in between.
Yep, I'm dipping into the Virginia and the South Carolina area, but right now I probably stretch anywhere between Elizabeth City all the way up probably to New Bern, back to Greenville, all the way up to Charlotte.
Okay, that's what's up. So that leads us into the first question.
Yes, ma'am.
What made you get into the private transportation industry, and what did you not expect going in?
Okay, so basically, what made me get into the private transportation is basically when I started back in 93 dealing in the taxi service industry. So I drove taxi cabs for two companies, and both, believe it or not, a year apiece. I actually was hands-on with it, working under two taxi companies back in 1993, 92, 93, and I hated it. I hated it because the two companies I was actually working under, one, it was just basically because I was forced to work because needed employment at the time, and I like driving taxis. And I drove for a company called Dependable Cab back then, and she basically, her name was Miss Pat West. She had a business. She actually had a courier, a Smith service as well. Her and her husband was sharing, and she actually had a taxi service. And so basically, I was just driving for her for a little while, and it wasn't the cleanest cabs in the world, but at the same time, I always say if I ever get into business, taxi business would not be it. So he ended up shutting down and getting into the courier business. And then I went for another employment, which was Eagle Cab. And at that time, my younger brother was driving for Eagle Cab at the time. His Israel farm, he was driving for Eagle Cab. He taught me to come to board on Eagle Cab. And that was even worse than driving the Dependable Cab, because I had that owner at the time wanted to drive all the cars at one time. He couldn't be in but one. So he basically maybe said, I would definitely not get in the taxi business if I ever decide to get into business. So make a long story short, I done that for twice. I done it for two different companies, and unfortunately at that time, I ended up getting a little trouble. Everybody know my story. I ended up, getting getting a little trouble, out in the drug industry, and I caught some Fed time, and and when I went into the experience into the federal institutions, they offered a lot of courses for how to start your own small business. Unfortunately, by me having my diploma, I was not forced to go to get the GED classes. So all I had to do was work and sign up for all of these courses that the federal government was offering. And the first one that caught my eye was how to start your own small business. And obviously that transitioned over to accounting, 1 and 2, anything that had something to do with owning your own business from the ground up. I had about 7 years on time. Yeah. Basically I had enough time. I got time to stay. So I put myself in every course I could possibly get into. And I always say when I ever get released, I want to get into the pressure washing business. And I took a couple of courses with that, small engine repair, building maintenance, basically showing you how to work on pressure washers, lawnmowers, so on and so on. So when I came home in 99, I went to a federal halfway house. And first thing I did, I went out looking for some pressure washing companies, pressure washing business. And my brother happened to step to me. My brother Israel, they own Curtis Cab now. He happened to step to me and ask me would I be interested when I actually come home officially and get back into the taxi business and to start a business with him, which was Curtis Cab at the time. And I did. Okay. I took his offer. I took my money that I fortunately saved up. I won't no bad hustle. I actually paid some money, and I came home and me and him started Curtis Cab together. But by me being a convicted felon, the city agreement wouldn't allow me to go so far owning my own business. So basically, I was still under chain of command through him, and with all the knowledge I had in the taxi business, I couldn't go but so far. For having my name on stuff and documents, and just being an actual 100% owner, I actually was I guess you could say I was an independent driver.
Right.
Even though I bought all the cars and everything, went down to the police station, bought 10 police cars, literally. And literally. And literally. And I bought 10 police cars. They took all my cars when I got incarcerated. So I went out and bought theirs when I came home. And I bought 10 police cars, and I parked inside of my house where I live at now, and I turned them into taxi cabs. Wow. So, make a long story short, speed this thing up. Just the fact of being in the taxi business and picking up day in, day out, going through all of that with the kids and the parents. The parents were worse than the kids in Greenville.
Hold on. Hey, all right, Greenville. He talking about y'all, not me.
I'm keeping it real. This is uncut right here. Keep
it real. This is raw. Go ahead.
Dealing in transportation, taxi in a college town before Uber, Lyft, before drunk buses ever existed. It was thing called taxi service, and everything in the minds of most college students and maybe their parents. They look at the taxi business as maybe the lowest of any type of occupation. Basically, they look at it as a scum job. Picking up people and dropping them off, they look at it as basically like driving Miss Daisy. So I mean, my pockets said different at the end of the night because they were actually paying $20 to go 2 blocks. So I don't know how that could be a scum job, but let them tell it. I had to go through that transition for years and years and years, and I always said that it got to be something else I can do in transportation other than hand-to-hand money taxi service. So I just came up with an idea one day and said, you know what, I'm gonna try to back out of the taxi business and start a private transportation dealing with corporate clientele, and maybe try to get into getting familiar with contracts where I can back out of this taxi service dealing with people that don't really want to pay for good service, but actually want good service, won't want to pay for good service. Right. And when you start dealing in corporate, that's a whole nother level. So that's how I end up really getting into the private transportation. And I still do probably about 20 to 30% still taxi service for the mom and pops that just won't let me stop picking them up and their kids and grandkids, which I appreciate that. I'm very, very grateful they still honor my business. But personally now I'm just great, probably 90% now for private transportation.
Right. That's what's up. I mean, that's an amazing story. Like, one thing about it, people think that once you got a felony, they use it as an excuse as to why they can't do this and why they can't do that. But you're my second guest that's been up here that is flourishing in the entrepreneurial world, and you are an ex-con. So it's possible. Go ahead.
But Sonia, not to interrupt you, but what we do, we allow our own environment, our own people, our own society to tell us what we can't do. See, they know that tag as a convicted felon, which I have learned to now stop calling us convicted felons and start calling us like a returnee. We returning back into society. So even though I still slip and call myself a convicted felon, but actually start calling ourselves returnees. We returning back into society. I return myself back into society. And what ended up happening is we allow them to tell us, give us limits to what we can't do because of our background. So, but what I did is I said to myself, and I tried to preach to younger people and older people that you can actually take a background or a past and turn it to a mega future.
You sure can.
You can actually turn it into really a very successful future for you and your family, even though you've been tagged as a so-called convicted felon or a menace to society or somebody that actually broke the law. And most people that actually labeling you actually broke the law themselves, but just has not been identified or caught.
Exactly. I don't want to mess her name up. I think it's Shania. But she said he played that Uno reverse card on him. They took his cards, so he bought theirs.
I bought every one they had available. I bought the one that didn't run. I bought the one that had the dogs in. I bought the jump out car. What it did? What happened was I bought everything. What ended up happening is they seized my stuff, due to the fact of my criminal activity, and they I guess they publicized it or they advertised it or they did a campaign with my vehicle to they probably diminish my name and pretty much, actually, I think back then, I don't know if you ever heard of the DAD program.
I went through that program.
Yep. At the time, they took one of my vehicles, which everybody, but the older crowd, a purple Honda Accord that I had, that I actually dressed up with teddy bear rims and the stimulated rag top and nice paint job, and they actually seized that vehicle and used, even I had some teddy bear rims on it. A grown man had caught teddy bear rims. That was me, and that was me. And what happened was, teddy bear rims. And but what happened was, by it being so different and so that nobody had never done this, I think it really caught the eye of any type of law enforcement. Yeah. And and actually made myself more noticeable and put the old word more hot. By putting that out there with who does this? Nobody do this. So we're gonna make an example out of this guy. And they did. They made an example for a short time by taking the car to schools and events, fireworks. down to Sunday in the park and pretty much said this car was confiscated by a drug dealer. And they basically, they put your name out there, Anthony Dupree, to basically, diminish my name and have my, so much of a bad name. If I ever was fortunate to come home. So that program is called the DARE program, and if you look it up, the DARE program symbol is a teddy bear.
Yeah, it is.
It's a teddy bear. It's a teddy bear. So unfortunately, the teddy bear DARE program. So I had about 5 years to endure that type of activity that was going on in my own hometown.
Wow.
While I was incarcerated, but what it did, it just built me a mentality, not a vindictive mentality, but a mentality that I'm the type of person that I can't put myself in a violent situation for I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. That's not my personality. But I'm gonna come up with something. I got time to think. I got 5 years to think about this situation here. So I took that 5 years, a little over 72 months to think about how I'm gonna put my name back in this community as something positive.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. How can I put my name back to being Dupree that everybody grew up, parents and mothers and fathers and grew up as knowing me as not this so-called drug dealer or menace to society, but a guy that always stayed to the gyms, talk fast, all hyper, do anything for the community. They got himself in just a little bit of trouble. And keep in mind, I'm a one-time offender, and I'm not a repeat offender. Never been in prison, never been arrested, but one time, and that still stands to this day. And so, how can I put my name back in people's minds as a good person when I come home? So when I came home, I heard through the grapevine they were having a public auction down into the public works, and they auctioned off some police cars. So, and it was on a Saturday. I was actually home on this weekend from the halfway house. I marched right down there to the me and my brother. We went right down there to the auction, and believe it or not, guess what? One of the cars that actually had out there that day auction, my purple Honda Accord. I'm not making
your own car down
there. So my brother asked me, "Hey Dupree, bruh, you want to buy that car back?" I said, "Under no means will I buy that car back." So I think I got a grind to end up buying it. I said, I got better idea. I want at least 10 of these cars.
They probably like, what?
They said 10. I said, yeah, I got a little money I got saved up. Unfortunately, I did save my money. I never, I just didn't take advantage of my situation and tried to impress anybody in prison, whatever. So my mom, thank God, held on to every dime I had. I was going, thank God for her. She held on to every dime I had the whole while I was gone. When I came home, I had not one penny less than when I left in 94. So when I came home, I actually invested in a pressure washing unit for my pressure washing business, and the rest of the money down to about a couple $100, for eat off for. I tried to spend every dime I had saved up on 10 police cars. And I marched all of them down here to the house, and one by one, I got with my my web designer and my decal person and my marketing person at the time, and we actually started putting them cars one by one into the taxi business under courtesy cab at the time, under courtesy cab.
Right.
And I never looked back.
That's an awesome story. I mean, I've been in Greenville since I was 10 years old. I'm 40 now. But I remember I used to stay down the street from, your house is probably going to be like one of those historical, one of those historical moments or places that some of these cities have. But every time I rode by there, I would see the growth. I started off with these type of vehicles, and now you got the vans, and now you got nice cars sitting around there. I don't stay over that way no more, but I'm gonna have to ride through, peep it out.
I got car value 10 times more than my actual house.
Wow.
But at the same time though, that's by my choice. That's my choice. Yes, that's by my choice. And I just wanted to own this corner car. I went through so much with the city of Greenville about code enforcement and what I couldn't do, violation and this, to the point they just and that energy just, I took it like scuba snacks. And I did. I took like scuba snacks, and I ate every person came in and told me what Dupree could not do, and what you should not be allowed to do. Keep in mind what you should not be allowed to do. I took that and I ran away with it, because I think really they picked the wrong person, because I was not raised to be a drug dealer. I was actually raising the projects with nothing like everybody else. It's just that I happened to got curious to the game industry. I've never done no drugs. I never had any drugs in my body, no alcohol, no liquor, no champagne, pop no pills, don't do no weed, no heroin, crack, cocaine, fentanyl. None of that has ever entered my bloodstream. I just at the time I just had a problem with keeping up with bills by being, leaving out my parents' house, my mom's house at an early age, and getting my girlfriend pregnant. She had a kid. I had another kid at 15 years old. Had another one at probably about 17. And my pride was like, man, I'm not gonna ask my mom anything. I got out there in the world. I got out there in the streets, and almost drowned. So, my uncle. I learned real quick. I'm sorry, and I got out there and I did whatever best hustle that I thought at the time was necessary. And now that I'm actually on the other side of the fence, I kept that same mentality. I still got the same hustler mentality I had on the street. But it's in a positive way, not a negative way. And I love the positive way, because the negative way is no retirement. It's the death of penitentiary. It's no retirement.
You see where that leads. And like I said, it's one thing, like you said, you're not a repeat felon. It's one thing for somebody to make a mistake and do the same thing again. But you went through it one time, and it got you. It actually is part of your story. It got you where you are today.
It's just my platform. It's just my platform.
Right. And they gave you that ammunition, to go ahead and do what you needed to do. One thing I was going to ask, I didn't have this question prepared, but you got in trouble in this area, you got out in this area, and you built this area. You built in this building in this area.
Yes, ma'am.
Some may ask, why did you stay here, or do you have something here that you won't leave here? Some people just.
That's a good question. That's a good question. So when I was in that federal halfway house in Raleigh, I actually was given the max term of 6 months. You can get a minimum, if I'm not mistaken, unless it changes, you can be there from 2 months to 6 months. And I was eligible for the entire 6 months, which is 6 months was the duration of my actual sentence. So when I went to the halfway house, one stipulation in order to live in a halfway house, you have to maintain a job,
right?
Because they take 25% of your gross income that you have to pay toward the halfway house, because you don't pay no bills in there. You don't pay no lights, no rent.
Right.
They feed you. So 25% of your gross income goes toward the halfway house. So what ended up happening the 6 months that I was there, I was fortunate to get a job at 42nd Street Oyster Bar in Raleigh as a dishwasher. And actually, they just shut down about a couple of weeks ago due to, I think, somebody ended up buying the property or something like that. So you can look it up. But I actually worked there for 6 months, and right when I was about to, one thing about Raleigh at the time, it's a tax write-off for businesses. And I don't know why Greenwood don't support this on this, but Pitt County, it's a tax write-off for businesses up in that Wood County to actually hire convicted felons. So if you actually have convicted felon on your payroll, it's a tax write-off. And Raleigh took total advantage of that. So at the time, they took total advantage of that. So at the time, they had like a rep that would go to the halfway house and actually recruit people to actually just into that federal halfway house in Raleigh. And I was fortunate to get a job at 42nd Street Oyster Bar. And when I was about 5.5 months in, I had about 30 days left. They came to me and said, Mr. Dupree, you do know unfortunately, your stay at the halfway house is about over. Now, this is not a halfway house. This is actually a restaurant. They keep up with you just that deep. I said, man, I got about 30 days left. I got about 30 days left, and I'm out of here. They say, well, sir, how would you like to continue working here? I think at that time when I came home, when I was in prison, I was making like 8 cents an hour.
You said 8 cents?
8 cents.
8 cents an hour?
Yes, ma'am. Yep. I was making 8 cents an hour when I was in prison for about 6 years.
Oh, in prison. I was like, wait, I thought you said when you first got out.
Oh, no, I'm gonna tell you what I made when I first got out. And I thought I was rich for what I was getting paid when I first got out. So that maxed out about $25 a month in the federal prison. So when I came home, I think the halfway house gave me like $8 an hour. That's like $8 an hour. $8. That was like hitting the Powerball. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. So when I got ready to leave, they offered me like a I don't know, I think like go to like $15 to $16 an hour. And once I called my mom and told my mom that I was about to leave halfway house. My time about, she said she begged me to stay in Raleigh. She literally said, Dupree, please, whatever you do, with all the publicity and how the narcotic officer, carried me the whole while I was gone, and how they kind of stressed her out, and with the internal revenue and the Fed seizing a lot of my stuff, my bank accounts and so forth and so on, my mom information and stuff they seized. So just by the experience of the 5 years, she begged me not to come back. But it always a but. I just had this personal thing in me that I cannot let Greenville, North Carolina get away that.
Right. You had to come back and finish your story.
I have to come. It's 42nd Street Walking in gave me $50 an hour. And I'm keeping it 100 with you. I have no problem with money. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't give me a $50 an hour. I'm keeping it 100 with you for me to stay in Raleigh one day after that 6 months was over with. I prepared for a homecoming the whole while I was gone. So for the reason that my personal problem with how my kids watched, how they did a father for is trying to just scrutinize my name and then limits my name and embarrass me the whole while I was gone. I had a thing that I had to come home and straighten that out. Not nothing, about violent or just being vindictive, but just putting my name back in the society. And actually to make a name for not business wise, it wasn't nothing really to do with open businesses. It was just I had just come in, just kind of explain to each individual, this is not the person that they portrayed me to be the whole while I was gone. So when I did come home, I got curious to a business, which was a press washing business, but I still was gonna go back to Raleigh. Don't get me wrong. But then the press washing business kind of fit into a mobile detailing business, and then the taxi business. And then a courier business, and I messed around and got me 2 dogs from Atlanta, which were Rottweiler. Everybody know how I got a good Rottweiler business going, and that kind of delayed my trip back to Raleigh.
Got you.
And then the more I started really getting into the business wise and training myself and going to business courses still at Pitt Community when I got out, and just watching the growth, I just got more and more like. Just more high off life now I'm going from being Dupree to Mr. Dupree to the same law enforcement officers that once just were putting me over to the side to me get out of the car, what you're doing, kicking my door down when they were raiding my houses. You know what I'm saying? Now they like it's not Dupree no more, it's Mr. Dupree, So I said,
on your name.
Absolutely. So I just told my mom, my family, I said, look, I think I'm gonna stick around a little bit. I know y'all want me to do it because they want me to get caught back out there in the drug game. And then they want me to get intimidated by the officers because projects kept. When I came home in 99, police used to almost just camp out in front of my house. They did that for about 5 years still, baby. I still being harassed by police officers. Still they sit up. Some of my neighbors used to call me, Dupree, where you at? I said, well, I'm in Raleigh, with my girlfriend, we're having a good time going on. Man, whenever you get home, man, please come home, man. So these police cars can get out in front of your house. So, just that alone, I know that I was becoming a threat because don't too many people do like I did when I came home. And I don't know, I'm not judging about it, but, sometimes it takes, 2 or 3 times for us to realize, that we can't put a price on freedom.
Right.
Yeah, but my freedom, it didn't take me one time to put a price on my freedom, realizing, man, you can't.
I don't like being in the little walls.
I don't like being in them little small rooms with all the men and taking showers and this, that, and other. I'm very particular about all that stuff right there. And I like talking on the phone when I want to. And
I like to lights on when I want to.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. And I really got a good sight for women. I just can't watch men all day long, every day. It's not my style. You know what I'm saying? So it don't took me one time to realize that, I got to do something to actually really keep myself in Pitt County, in Greenville for the duration of my life. And
for the right reason.
For the right reason. And
exactly.
So that's basically why today I'm still in Greenville. Here it is 26 years later, and I'm still here. So.
Still here. And you're here doing well. So that's the best thing about it. What's one part of your day-to-day that people would never understand unless they did it themselves?
For business wise?
Yeah, as far as the transportation business.
For the transportation business, dealing with your own community.
Mm.
You know, dealing with your own.
That's a whole topic right there.
I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. If you go into the transportation business, and I'm quite sure it probably for every business is actually considered a business,
right?
And I'm just gonna speak on transportation because that's what I do. If you think that you're gonna get support from your own community to keep alive, and you think that actually gonna be what's gonna take you to the promised land, then you're sadly mistaken. Don't get me wrong, the community will support you to a certain extent, but your mind frame has to be open to other cities, other counties, even other states, because you still cannot put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
You're gonna have to have many sources of income to survive. And I actually, to be honest with you, I actually have a more percentage of support out of the Pitt County area for transportation than I do in Pitt County. And that's a lot to do with me not letting just Pitt County be the lifeline of my corporation.
Right.
That's why
you didn't let them set your boundaries. You know, because like you said, we let people box us in. To situations, and we let them tell us what we can and can't do, and you just take it. And you prove them wrong.
I proved them wrong. It's what somebody tell you can't do. If you can think it, you can do it.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. And if you don't know how, reach out to somebody that's done it already. They'll show you. And if they don't show you, ask somebody else that's done it.
That's right. And see, that's why I don't want to really go nowhere and prove my point to people that actually don't know me. I want to prove my point to people that actually seen, like you said, they seen the metamorphosis, seen the actual building from ground up. And they can actually, if somebody of their in their family or their peers can actually just say they have to get in trouble one time for whatever reason, they can actually bring it to somebody that actually they seen prove that it's not a life sentence. Still a loaf of bread at Walmart should not be where you can't never get an apartment in your name no more. You can't. I mean, a loaf of bread. Still in a pack of Skittles. But it ain't the Skittles that's on your record. It's the convicted felon.
It's the principle, the fact of what you did.
Right.
And that's it's that you stole. It don't matter what you stole. The fact that you stole. That's what was wrong. The bread wasn't wrong.
It's the attempt and the exercise and the energy that you did to get the bread, we consider you as a thief.
Right.
So that thief's gonna ride you from the age of 17 to the age of 77. Right. So that means you won't be able to get a good job or any job or apartment or a loan from the age of 17 to 77 if you allow the system to carry you like that.
Right. Yeah. I know you had you was mentioning all the transportation services that you offer, and I heard you say you don't do Medicaid, it's all private transportation. So what's the earning potential when this is done right, and what separates the ones who make real profit from the ones who don't? Because I haven't noticed a lot of, I don't want to say none, because I haven't seen any, but when it comes down to private transportation in this area, I don't see anybody else.
Well, see, most people okay, I tried to, and I'll be honest with you, I tried to Medicaid about 3 or 4 times, and basically Medicaid is pretty much designed, and like I said, I get my hats off to company that do up under Medicaid, but transport under Medicaid, but Medicaid is pretty designed to actually deny you or shut you down. They actually ski mask in the industry. So basically, what they're doing is they actually giving a fee of probably $5. I don't know if it went up, but $500 or $600 to actually be able to bill Medicaid, and they do stipulations like come to your house or your office and see what your setup is and stuff to pretty much go back and say, unfortunately, Mr. Dupree, you were denied.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think I ended up giving them probably about 3 times, probably $1,500, of my hard-earned money, just for them to tell me I was denied because I didn't have a big enough sign at the door. Or when they tell you they schedule you to come to your house to do a assessment of your property or probably do a home check from the hours of 8 a.m. to 5.
You got to be there all day.
All day, and they pop up like 4:59. And if you don't open the door in the next 60 seconds, then they'll say that you wasn't you was not accessible for the 5 o'clock. I've been here since 8 o'clock now, really. I've been here since 8 o'clock now, really.
Right,
So
right.
anything that can shoot you down. So after about 3 or 4 tries, I said, okay, it got to be a better way. So I looked into the private transportation, which pays probably about, for example, Medicaid probably charge or probably pay my company $20 to take a person from point A to point B. Private probably pays $60. It's the person the same pickup location to the same drop off location.
Right.
Go do the math. It's a no brainer.
Right.
Yeah, I really got into the and then a lot of companies that's affiliates that I deal with, like for veterans and people that go back and forth to doctor appointments, workman's comp. They deal on the private pay, and I'm pretty much they're Superman, you know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of companies call me for the private pay, and they know I don't never say no, don't even know how to say no, you know what I'm saying? So I do a lot of accepting job offers and potential transportation offers for private pay because it's more lucrative and it's less stressful. It's less stressful. You don't have to worry about the chance of, well, I'm keeping it real with you.
Not getting paid.
Not getting paid.
Checks bouncing, trust me. I have a government contract, so those are the best. Okay, you get paid, and those checks do not bounce, right?
They don't bounce, and you ain't got to worry about, Another thing too, you ain't got to worry about being put in a situation to falsify anything as well.
Right, everything is clean cut and dry.
Everything's clean cut. You know yourself how many people has actually went to prison for Medicaid fraud. So because they give you so much money at one time, you just lose track of
what you're supposed to be doing.
What you're supposed to be doing, what you're not supposed to be doing. So yeah, it's easy to fall. Just like the drug game, it's easy to fall victim.
It is.
But the private pay, you pick them up, you bill them, and you go on to the next pickup. And I've been doing it now for private pay probably about, out of the 25 years I've been in transportation, I think I've been doing private pay for probably about 18 years.
Wow.
And like I said, that's in all of North Carolina, not just Pitt County, all in North Carolina. That's why you always see me, posting. I'm in Raleigh, I'm in, Mecklenburg County, which is Charlotte. I'm down in Nags Head, Elizabeth City, New Bern. I mean, I'm trying to hire a driver that anybody want to work, no matter what they say, I'm trying to employ them. You know what I'm saying? I want to pick up everybody in all of Eastern North Carolina.
Right. That's what I was going to say. So you're here, but you can always, expand by having someone else open up, but we'll talk about it.
That's what I do. and another thing too, a lot of people, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people call me all the time, can you give me advice how to start my own transportation business? It's not that easy. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I can't sit here and tell you over the phone in 5 minutes how to get what took me almost 30 years.
Right.
For one, it's free consultation for one. And for two, basically you want me to tell you how to go into these places and basically underbid me for jobs that I do. Basically, you said to return me how to start transportation business, so me and you both can be pulled up to the hospital and you charging $15 and I tell them I charge $13.
Right.
I mean, who does that? Who's gonna do that? Now, what I can do is I can tell you the rope, show you how to get started. Basically, I'm gonna tell you to do like I did. Sleep in your car for 3 years like I did in front of your house.
Nobody want to do that.
Nobody.
I'm about to say people want what they see, but they don't know what it took behind the scenes to get it. And when you tell them, they don't want to do it.
Yeah. Get up 4 a.m. Get up 3:30 in the morning. After laying down at 1 a.m. Get back up in 2 hours and come get this. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to do that. They want you to really sit there and say, "Well, man, can you tell me what companies need transportation?" Really?
Right.
Yeah.
So you had
nobody told me that. So
nobody told you, so they got to figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out.
Look, put a price on it. Shoot.
Yeah, and I'm getting to that point too. That's another project I'm working on. Like I said, lawyers do it. People do it. You want to be a film. You want to open up a Walmart right across from the bad example. You want to open up a bed and breakfast right across from the Hilton. You can't walk into the Hilton. You can't walk into the Hilton and ask them, well, how can I start a bed and breakfast right across the street? They can say, well, I tell you for $1 million, I tell you exactly how to start one. Now, if it's gonna be successful, I don't know. So he'll control you $1 million to tell you how to open a bread and breakfast right across the street. But it's up to you to make it successful now.
That's right. That's another thing I tell people. It's like, why do just because somebody else is successful doing something, it don't mean you're gonna be successful doing it, because they can do everything that you said to do, right? But it's about how you do it. You know, when you're like transporting people, I do a lot of Lyft and Uber. And some people pick me up, they're nice. Some people pick me up, they're rude. Some people don't pull up in my driveway. They stay out there on the street. I gotta walk to the car.
Absolutely.
I'm like, okay, I pay attention to that kind of stuff. So when that rating come up, I might rate you, 3
1
stars.
star. 1 star or 5 stars.
You said 1 or 5?
1 or 5.
No in between.
Ain't no in between. And there's such thing a 2, 3, and a 4. Either you a 1 or you was a 5.
Either you were good or you were bad.
You were good or you were bad.
I thought I was street and I need to get stripper. Look, what would you say to someone who thinks that this is just picking people up for a living?
They're highly mistaken on that one. They definitely got the wrong perception of it. It's picking people up, and it's coaching. It's man, I pick up people. I mean, I do stuff for pick out of schools where we actually pick up people displaced, homeless.
Okay.
I mean, for get little kids in your car, they don't have nowhere to stay, nothing to eat, and they actually are being. You got to go to school, believe it or not. You could be homeless and your parents still got to make you go to school. No, the parent, that's a law. That's a law. The parent probably ain't got nowhere to stay, but you still got to have that kid on that bus or in a transportation taking to school.
But I'm saying, what address do you use to get to be in the right district for the school if you're homeless?
But see, basically, it's just some part of it put you in a hotel.
Right. Shelter, I think that. Okay.
And actually, the way that it's designed, if you was going to a certain school before you were homeless,
that's who you stay at.
Right. No matter if the parent is homeless or not, you still would be able to go to that school that you was at before you was homeless. Yeah. And that's something you got to deal with. You got to deal with. I mean, you got to deal with. Like I said, I'm out of taxi business, so I ain't got to deal with the robbing and the shooting and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to really have yourself on. It's just more than just picking people up. You got to actually be sympathetic to older people. You got to be, acceptable for people's problems. You can't take your problem at the house into the transportation vehicles. And some people might want to get in, might want to vent with you and tell you their problem. You might say, "Man, I don't want to hear your problem. I have a problem on own."
Like, shut up and ride.
Yeah, ride. So you can't do it. You can't do that.
I was in Boston this past weekend, right, with my best friend, and I was like, I'm a country girl. Like, I don't care. My friend, she had to tell me, said, stop trying to talk to people. Like, they don't talk to people up here. What's wrong with her? I just tried to tell her dress is pretty, and she just walked like she didn't even see me. And she's like, you can't talk to people. They're gonna think you're trying to rob them. I'm like, huh? I've been to New York plenty of times, but Boston is different. Like,
yeah, way different. I've been to it 1 or 2 times. It's not friendly. Boston and Philadelphia, they're not friendly at all.
And I'm going back for a week this summer, but it's a lot to do there, so I can get past the people not being friendly.
Absolutely. You can block that out.
Exactly.
You got other goals. You got other stuff in mind. You can block that out.
Exactly. So what have you done to turn your business into a brand and not just a service? Because, when I see Anthony Dupree, I hear brand. Of course, I immediately go to transportation services, but you have other things going on too. So your business is definitely a brand. So how have you turned it into a brand instead of not just a service?
Just the thought of generational wealth. I decided that I want my grandkids and my kids to take this over one day. Actually, put me in retirement. Come and let I can sit down and take over. So, and I know that I won't be able to do that by just having just a transportation or pressure washing or dog breeding or courier service or party buses and stuff like that. I need to make it a brand. So Google can actually, no matter if I get out of bed, my phone gonna ring. I don't have to. I can actually tell people no. At one time, I couldn't tell nobody no. I had to get up no matter if they want to pay me 10 times less than what I wanted, or be whatever type of mentality. I had to keep saying yes.
Right.
Fortunately, I'm to the point now I can actually pick and choose if I want to pick somebody, if I don't want to pick them up, if I want to watch this house or watch that house. So anything dealing with transportation, my main goal was, this is where I started at transportation. I want to make it a brand so it can be worldwide. I actually had at one time I was on the Courtesy Cab, Dupree Transportation, Dupree Courier Service, Executive Black Car Service. I had like 5 transportation companies. So I just said, you know what, all these checks coming in and all the invoices, I just made it to an LLC and just named everything Dupree's Enterprise LLC. Yeah. Doing business as Dupree Transportation, Dupree's Courier Service. I even started another medical transport probably about 6 months ago called DTS, Dupree Transportation Service. And basically what that is, we take people back and forth to doctor appointment again, like colonoscopies and stuff like that. They actually need a driver to sit there and wait. Oh, yeah, because a lot of doctor office, you know, first they ask you, who gonna take you home?
Right, because they ain't supposed to drive when they get there.
They don't supposed to drive when they come out. When they come out of anesthesia, don't supposed to drive. You can't just say, well, Sandra, take me home. Well, can you tell her come in here so we can talk to her, please? And whole while you ain't even at the doctor's office. You go home. So I came up with a company that we can actually pick people up and walk in and sit in the lobby and wait on them. And I wanted to call it Dupree Transportation Service, but when people start saying that Dupree, like, man, we ain't taking me to the doctor. You know, he got enough. He got enough. So
people love count people money.
Man,
right?
they in your pockets, all 4 of them, even a pocket with holes in it, they counting. It is what it is, you know, that's been going on before me and your time. They're gonna go on way after your kids' time. That would never ever change. So we got to deal with it and we got to learn off of it and we got to, coexist with it. So what happens is unfortunately, you get to the point now you can't even really put your actual face on your websites or on advertisement, because once they see you, they don't want to support you, whatever, because they think you already got enough. No, man, right. I don't have anything at all. It ain't just owning your own business. Is you actually have to be an owner operator. Oh, well, you just can't unless you Sam Walston or Walmart or Elon Musk or somebody like that. You actually got to get up and work in your own business. You got to pay yourself last, pay employees first. Sometimes I don't even get paid at all.
Right.
I didn't even pay myself, but I got to get picked up and dropped off. And so at the end of the day, I just come up with an idea to make it a brand. So me personally, knock on wood, not bragging anything, I don't think my business will ever go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because now I don't actually fought tooth and fought dogs and pit bulls and alligators to the point that actually made a household name, for Dupree Transportation and Dupree's Enterprise LLC, because of the fact that, like I said, it's a whole lot of companies out here now that's doing it, but I actually influence and actually motivate a lot of companies to actually get into the transportation. Coming down my blog every day and say, man, this guy's doing it, man. How can we pick people up and drop them off? You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with that, because at the end of the day, I know that I don't put all my eggs in one basket. So a whole while, you trying to, do better than me or undercut me, whatever. Man, I'm somewhere, man, trying to start something else. Like as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Because I done the other type of occupation. So I understand it's a thin line between the streets and actually in the office.
Yes.
It's a very thin line.
Yeah. It's easy to cross. God knows.
Yeah.
So I know everything ain't easy when you picking people up and dropping them off, and sometimes you have long rides. So how you deal with entitled clients? Disrespect or that let me get a hookup crowd. How do you deal with it?
And I'm gonna tell you how I deal with them. I deal with them because I can actually be comfortable with, like, when people call my business and I answer the phone in the office, I say Dupree, and they be like, yo. And I'll be like, yo. And I'm keeping 100 with sweetheart. I come back with them and I say, yo. And they might say yo again.
Right.
And I'm like, yo. And then they do. Hey, you got anything available? I say, well, who am I talking to? Then they say, okay, oh, my bad, man. This is Mike. I didn't know you were available, man. I said, man, Is this how you talk when you call a place of business? And they'd be like, well, man, F you, and hang the phone up. It is, that's what it is what it is. Because
you don't need that type of person riding in your vehicle anyway.
And one thing about that type of crowd, they want to give out energy, but they cannot take the same energy. So, I mean, I ain't always been a business owner. Don't get that mistaken. I ain't always been a business owner, so I can't go back to being Dupree. Do dirty, do whatever. I can go back to being that guy, but I'd rather be professional and deal with a professional.
Right.
You know, so by me having a mentality that one thing, I don't know about businesses, other business, but in my business, the customer ain't always right. So if you ever call my company with that mentality, that Dupree, man, hey man, I know, hey man, you can't argue me, man, because I'm always right. No, buddy, not here.
Not with this business.
not with this business. 9 times out of 10, the customer is always wrong.
Right.
Because it has that mentality that the customer is always right. Just because you call my business, and I appreciate that. I got love for you. That don't mean that you can call me and give me the wrong address, and then I go to the address you gave me, and I'm down the street because you gave me 123, you actually 125. But you're gonna say, well, Miss Dupree, well, since you're gonna have me late for work, I should get a discount. I said, no, sir, no, ma'am. The reason why you're gonna be late for work is because you told me 123, but you at 125. They said, hey, no, Dupree, hey man, customer's always right. I said, well, you ain't always right because you gave me the wrong address. So the same $15 I told you is still the same 15, and it might be 17 if you continue to stay in this car because I do charge for wait time.
I know that's right.
Yeah, so you got to deal with that. So won't nobody take advantage of you. You can't be honoring this discount because when you walk in the mall, you pay exactly what's on the tag.
Exactly.
When you go into the concerts and you want a bottle of water because your fiance, your husband, wife said, man, I'm thirsty, you go down and pay $6.75 for a bottle of no brand water. $6.75 without a top, without a lid. And you don't try to talk them down. So if I tell you it's $75, $100, but can you do it for $50? No, not today and not tomorrow. Now, but what I can do, if you call me when I'm so-called off business hours, and I actually answer the phone and I say, Dupree, maybe we could work out that discount because now it's a personal situation.
Right.
When you call my place a business, it's business. When you call me after hours, now you want to go to Raleigh for $50? Man, you might be lucky because guess what? I'm actually going up to a concert. I can take you, give me that $50. We can ride together. Right, you grab me. But if you call me tomorrow morning for that same exact mileage, that same exact trip, it's $175. Because now you're calling a place of business.
Right.
So when you get people to understand the difference between business and pleasure or business and friendship, that's the hardest part of owning your own business is separating business with friendship. Business with people you grew up with is like water and oil. It don't mix.
It don't. It really don't.
You got to draw a line. You got to be, man, you know, I can't pay my employees off discounts. I can't pay my dispatch. I can't pay Google. I can't pay my website designer. I can't pay your insurance company. I can't pay State Farm. I can't pay Progressive. I can't pay my workers' comp.
You can't keep the vehicles going without money.
I can't pay Speedway or Sheets with discounts.
Yeah, you can't do none of that. People don't understand, or they act like they. I guess because everybody don't run businesses. No, and everybody that has a business ain't actually running their business either. So people have LLCs and they throw this stuff behind their names and calling themselves CEOs, and they have no idea how much money it really takes to keep the business going. So all the stuff that you see and you want to think that I'm pocketing everything that I'm making, that's a ignorant opinion or an ignorant assumption to make. I mean, especially at our age. Like, so if you call me, that's why I love what I do. I can't give you a discount on no insurance because the insurance company, it is what it is. And ain't nobody asked me about that yet. It's like, well, can you find it any lower? They might ask me that because they know I can shop for them. But the insurance make the decision. If they say you can't get this insurance and I gotta move somewhere else, it's not me. So I don't have to go through that. And me going from doing hair to doing this, when of course, doing hair, I make my prices. So people want discounts and stuff. No, it costs me money. It's wear and tear on my body. I'm physically standing on my feet working on your big nappy head. I love y'all though. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. But at the end of the day, it's wear and tear on me. And I did hair for 20 something years, and I was blessed to never have arthritis in my hands.
Wow.
And I said, I quit because I got out of it because I didn't want to be put out of business for something like that. And so now I'm still using my hands, typing up applications and policies, but I'm sitting down. I'm resting. It's the easy job.
My head goes off. Absolutely.
Thank you. But owning your own business is something that it's a privilege and it's an opportunity that we did not have years ago.
No, ma'am.
And it's more easy today to start a business than ever. If your name is messed up, get an LLC, put it and do business as the business. Put it in your kid's name. And I'm gonna have another podcast on, how to do that, because people are in situations where, like we get in trouble. I mean, I got charges. I ain't done fair time, but I've been locked up plenty of times. I don't like being arrested.
No.
I didn't let that hold me back, and there are ways. I won't say there's ways around it, like to be illegal, but there are ways around it legally. Right? But you don't know these things if you are, for one, discouraged by your environment because you're already told, if you got this misdemeanor, you can't do this. Stop taking people's no's. And Mr. Dupree is a prime example of not letting society hold him down.
No.
And he stayed right here in his local community and built himself right back up. Yep. And he's a well-respected businessman doing good for the community. And they get to see it right in front of their eyes.
I'm talking about the premiere.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, uncut. I mean, I'm not, I put it out there, like I said, put social media, transparent, I don't have any of my passes. I mean, I just tell it just like it is, you just got to just be raw. Just go raw and let people know,
right.
I don't have nothing, nobody name, everything in my name. I don't have no, in the girlfriend name, dog name, mama, daddy, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Fortunately, I never had a business loan. I never walked in the bank, asked for no help, anything like that. I have never even wrote my own bit. I have never even wrote my own business proposal. I don't even know how to do one.
Right.
My fiance,
you got it done.
Yeah. I mean, straight from the streets. I was forced. Into owning my own business because when nobody give me a job when I came home. Nobody would, no company would employ me when I came home in '99. They did, unfortunately, but you've been a convicted felon. Well, we won't be able to hire you at this time. So what I did is I went about 3 or 4 other places and I made a personal pact with myself. I said the next location they tell me they cannot hire me because of my past, I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to hire convicted felons. So right at the time, did get a call from a place out to East Carolina called Airmark, and a young lady that knew a friend of mine said that she heard my cry and heard that I was looking for employment. They did have a job opening out there for a dishwasher. And I actually went out there and I applied for it. They gave it to me on the spot, gave me a good old nice rubber apron. And actually, I owned my own businesses before I got that job, but by me being on federal probation, one of the stipulations of being on federal probation, you can own your own business. But it was too late. It was too late. I already started my own business, and they pretty much kind of threatened me to stop them, but kind of let you know a story. My probation officer, when he found out that I actually own Dupree's pressure washing and actually co-owner of Christian Cal, he actually told me it's like a violation to own your own business while you're on federal probation. And I refused to. And make a long story short, he actually called me up one day and said, "Mr. Dupree, how much you charge me to wash my car in the federal building?" I actually, to be honest, I thought it was set up. I said, "Mr. Jessup, man." I said, "Man, first of all, man, I ain't got time to play. First of all, I ain't no joking move for one. Not today.
Right.
What do you mean how much I charge you to wash your car in the federal building?"
He trying to get you locked up.
Look, you trying to get me locked back up? First of all, with my pressure washing equipment, my at the time I had every time on my truck and the trailer, and the gate, you got to get a code in the gate. He's not only watch my car, was watching my wife's car. I said, okay, so this got to be a setup. So this is what I did. I went out on a limb. Actually, I went out there and I went in that federal property. And I watched him 2 cars, and he asked me to come to his house. Make a long story even shorter, this guy was actually saying, man, just with the fire and that no answer that you have carried yourself, and just the determination of the federal telling you what you can't do, and you still doing it.
Do it.
You riding around with all these personalized license plates with your name on them, and you don't even post it. First of all, how you even get the cars for one?
Right.
And you actually got them labeled Dupree 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and we can't do but support you, my friend. And actually, they even put me onto a program that was out there, Pitt Community College that I went to, and if you successfully completed, they'll take like 10 months off your probation.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so they actually went from telling me that I could not own my own business to actually supporting them, to actually help me get off probation faster. All because I didn't lie to them, I didn't fabricate nothing, I did not hide nothing,
right?
And I was very honest, and I was very transparent. That the fact that just because I got incarcerated, that don't mean I threw all my money away.
Right.
I actually came home with some money to actually better myself. And for you to tell me what I can't do, you basically telling me go back into the system. Because if you're gonna tell me you could deny me employment, you basically tell me go back and do what I know how to do, right?
Right.
And that's to sell drugs. Because I definitely do a job doing that. But I refuse to do that application definitely all over the place in that. So I refuse to go that route. So they actually teamed up with me, and the rest is history. And I get off probation. I think I had 5 years, get on 3.5 years, close to 4. And to the day, the probation officer, they still see me on the street, and they still say, "Man, you remember, man, back in 99 and 2000, you doing this, you doing." I said, "Hey, man," they said, "Man, you actually opened the doors for actually people to come home." So basically, I actually started a trend of what you cannot do, because people say, "Well, what you mean I can't do it? Dupree done it." So now everybody's saying, Dupree got a text from me when he came home from prison. Why can't I?
If he can do it, I can do it. And that's exactly, we need more people like that people can look at and say, if he can do it, I can do it, because they know at one point, you wasn't there. Yeah. It's real important for people to understand where people started, because everybody, well, I don't say everybody, a lot of people think that, I guess, stuff just happens overnight. You've been doing this for a long time. I don't know at what point it started being actually, successful, because people can be in business for 20 years and it took 10 for them to see their first real profit, and people don't know that.
What you got to do, to be honest with you, Sonia, what you got to do is you got to I had to marry my business. Mm-hmm. So that's family, females, homeboys. I had to really put everybody to the side, and I actually I gave a vow to my business, and I actually married and fell in love with my business. So that took up 25 hours of my day, 8 days a week of my time. Sleeping in my car. I slept in my car in front of my own house about 5 years. Refused to go inside the house. My own house. I wasn't homeless. It's just that my office was I wasn't homeless. Oh, don't make a mistake in there. I wasn't homeless.
Right.
I just didn't have time to go into the house.
Got you.
Because I'm trying to not go back into the drug world. I'm not trying to make people in Greenville say, "We told you so. We told you it wasn't going to work." So I made a pact that I go in the house, use the bathroom, wash it. I'm going right back in our car, and I'm answering the phone. And that's what I did. And that time I was doing it with owning several businesses. And working at ECU. I worked at ECU for 12 years and owning 3 businesses. And I was just I just couldn't. At 12 years, my business got so overwhelming that I just snuck off and never looked back. But I put 12 years of hard work for Airmark, but it actually gave people hope that, you know, I hate to say this, but you have to keep getting off the system or keep staying in the system. You can actually get out here, man, and do it. Dupree done it. I mean, I done it with a label. And now, you know, I hire convicted fellas now. I hire people that ain't been in no trouble neither, but I really hire people, man, that actually have a background, actually have motivation, actually what you call it, don't have nothing to lose.
Right.
They come work with me, work for me, and long as they understand that, hey, man, you know, this is a blessing that you can actually be employed with your background, but you can actually take it to a whole nother level. And that's just something I just show people every day in my transportation business. If you got driver's license and, you know, the credential to actually, you know, be able to drive a vehicle, you know, it don't matter your background or whatever. And, you know, as long as you don't have a background that you know that you can't get a job nowhere, you got to really know business doing. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Outside that right there, there's no limit. You know, no stipulation on, you know, okay, man. So just because you sold drugs, you can't go mop the floor at the hospital.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't be a janitor.
Right.
You broke the law 25 years ago, and you can't wipe windows off at, you know, at schools. You know, can't let people just put limits on you and just keep you in a box. You know, you got to not only you got to show them you can do it, you got to actually throw it back in their face. That now, since you told me I could not, for example, you told me I could not sweep the floors of the hospital. How about I just go open up a whole hospital?
That's all I want to say. Like, I'll open up my own hospital.
I open my own hospital and my own floor. And don't think it can be done. If you can think it,
you can do it.
You can do it. Yeah.
That's right. And this is awesome. I really enjoy hearing your story. And with everything you got, you mentioned retirement. So I gotta ask all my guests this question. What's your end game? Like, what does that look like?
And I'm gonna be honest with you, my end game is one day that I get a phone call from my kids and my grandkids said, Dupree, Dad, Granddaddy, sit down. Sit down. You don't pay your debts to society. You done done all you possibly can do. Let us take over. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure that when they do take over, they don't have to work hard, nowhere near hard as I did.
Right.
They ain't got to do it with the city, the state, you know, the community. They just come right in and just the next day, just full speed ahead. You know what I'm saying? No. You know, my kid right now, if they get my phone, take my phone right now, they won't even know how to say Dupree's in a product. They probably say hello. You know, hello. Really, yeah, they won't even say Dupree's Transportation, Dupree Enterprise, and then hello.
Hello.
So, yeah, if I can get them and actually stop worrying about what dad or granddad, am I gonna really make any money? Am I really gonna make a living? So you watch me for 25 to 30 years doing what I'm doing. And you ask that question. Do you think I'll come out here every day just for fun? I mean, no. I mean, I'm not trying to count my pennies or anything like that, but I live pretty good.
Right.
I live pretty good. I do spontaneous things. I don't say I can't go to the beach until Friday until I get paid. You know, man, I wish you called me last Friday because I don't get paid till the next Friday. You know,
right.
So I live pretty good, but it took 25 years to actually be able to say that. And my end game is I want my kids to have the same joy. My grandkids pretty much they had the same enjoyment, the same luxury. But I had to sacrifice for one. I sacrificed my freedom.
Yeah,
I did. I sacrificed my freedom not by force, but by choice. I mean, you know, I chose to sacrifice my freedom. So I sacrificed my freedom so my grandkids would not have to. So my grandkids, no, my kids should have no reason to call me today and say, Dad, Granddad, I called the drug charge. it makes no sense. You know, they shouldn't have been able to call me and say, man, dad, granddad, I'm dead to jail. Or I just decided to steal a piece of gum. You know, or I hit somebody or I fought somebody. Why? Because they said this is that. Dude, you better than that, man. I didn't do all this for you to end up in jail. I went to jail. If nobody was not threatening your life or bullying you, you had no reason to go to jail. Right. You don't have to be speeding down the road. You don't have to do anything that's unnecessary. I done all of that. Right. I done all of that to for you not to have to. So I'm 57 years old now, and I hope to retire. And I'll be honest with you, I hope to retire in the next 3 years. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I got 2 grandkids, both of them are 14 years old.
Okay.
Both of them are 14. Both of them birthday in the same month of April, and my daughter son is 14. My son is 14. I also have a grandchild, but with my daughter, she's 7. So she's gonna be the one that really gonna be take me to the promised land. The people are 7 years old. But my 2 grandsons, they 14, and 3 more years, they're gonna be 17 years old. They're gonna be driving these cars.
Right.
At 17. They're gonna be the first Greenville, the first 17-year-old CEOs.
I know that's right. That's
not,
how you
not 18, not 19, not 20. 17 years old. That's 3 years from now.
Right.
17 years old. I'm actually gonna be working for them.
I know, man.
And it ain't by choice. I'm gonna force them to. Look, I'm be honest with you. They ain't going to college, and they ain't going to get no financial aid. They come working with me at 17 years old. College ain't for everybody. I never went to college. Don't know how to do no financial aid. Don't know how to do none of that. I'm not saying people that go to college don't wind up being very successful. A lot of them do, but it won't in my portfolio. And I'm not gonna advise my kids to go to college. I'm gonna advise them if they do go to college, they're gonna be for business degrees to better their own. You were about to say their own business.
That's right.
Not to better somebody else's business.
That's right.
Not to better somebody else's family business, but to better what Dupree started. Their granddad or their dad. So in 3 years, I expect to retire. Not retire from working, but retire from transportation and go into. I got other businesses, other stuff I want to get involved in. They're probably going to take me to about 80 years old.
Okay.
But at 60 years old, I want to honestly say I actually work for my grandkids now. My kids kind of missed the boat. They missed the boat. Yeah, they didn't throw the anchor out. They missed the boat. So I'm looking forward to my kids and me working for my grandkids.
Wow. For a 17-year-old, my nephew is 17. For a 17-year-old to say his granddad works for him, that's not even a flex. That's like, I mean, huge. I don't even know the word for that, but that's awesome.
And you heard it first on your podcast.
Y'all heard, look. Heard it first right here on the round table. He's gonna be working for his 17-year-old grandchildren.
Yeah, y'all. You heard it first on the round table that Dupree gonna be actually working for his grandkids in 3 more years.
That's a beautiful.
Look, they're gonna cut me a check. They're gonna cut me a check. I don't want no cash app. I don't want no cash. I want you to cut me a check every Friday. And they're not buying no business from me. I'm giving it all the business I own. I'm giving it to them. But they're gonna have to cut me a check every Friday, so I can put that money into other businesses that I want to do. That I don't have to worry about transportation, courier service, stuff like that. I got other business ventures that I want to actually make money while I sleep, and have other people doing it. But I still want to invest in it, and I want to take that check that my grandkid gonna be giving me every Friday. And funnel into that real estate and other stuff like that, and land and stuff, upgrading my dog kennels, and I'm gonna breed dogs till the day I die. So I can't turn the dog kennels over to them, so they're halfway scared of them. So I'm gonna keep that business there. I'm gonna keep that business. But outside of that, though, you heard first on the round table that Dupree can work for his grandkids in 3 years. And I'm not trying to go over 3 years neither. Cause in 3 years, I've been doing it now, probably about 32, 33 years. Once the 3 years is up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, man, that's
and that's working for myself now. I'm not saying 33 years retiring from somebody
else. You're retiring from working for yourself to work for your grandkids who you're passing the legacy down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you do it, y'all. Like if you have a business, have a plan. A lot of people don't have plans. I asked some of my guests what their end game is, and they got to think about it because they haven't thought that far, and that's okay. Because some people, are, we're in different stages in life.
Yes,
Some
yes,
people
ma'am.
are younger and just they went into the business headstrong. They're just gonna make money. But I would love to bring some of those guests back, and see how their mindset has changed because you have to have a business plan when you start. You have to know what your end game is. Because if you don't have no goal, you're just out here really just working for no reason. And
Absolutely.
that leads to not managing your money, your time right, because you ain't got no goals. You know what I'm saying? Like you know exactly what you want to do with your check that you're gonna be getting in 3 years.
I already
Right?
know what I'm gonna do with it. I already know what I'm
You
gonna do with it.
do with it. Man, that's awesome,
All,
Mr. Do.
all my stuff paid for. All my stuff be paid for. I don't have to worry about going in debt, anything like that. I'm pretty much have everything planned out that pretty much I can just sit back and go fishing and stuff that I never really do. I love to travel. My own timeshare, all over the United States. So I actually start experiencing some of my timeshare. I've been putting this money in, for so many years. You know what I'm saying? So I can actually go travel and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, they're not gonna have the option to my business to go under. Just because you're the CEO and you're all the owners now, you don't think they ain't gonna be saying, "Hey,
you still gonna oversee everything."
Yeah. So they already know. Granddad, I thought you gave the business to me. Yeah, I didn't give it to you to throw away. I gave it to you to give to your kids.
Right.
And your kids give to their kids. So until the day I die, I'm still gonna be like, hey man, it's 4:00 in the morning. What y'all still doing in the bed? Granddad, 4:00. Man, people got to go to dialysis.
Yep.
They got to be at 5:30. They'll be at 5:30, man. What are you doing in the bed? Okay, man, you know what? I'm going to put both of you on suspension. I'm coming out today. But, man, we got to do better than this. So I know it ain't going to be easy.
Yeah, it's going to be a transition.
It's gonna be a transition, but I guarantee you, but once it transition over 100, they're going to really, then they be able to have that same energy for their kids.
That's right.
Yeah. And then actually now, ain't nobody got ever working Dupree family no more because of course, I'm going to be long dead and gone. But now, actually, be honest with you, thank God, I'm the actual only person that I know of in my Dupree family that have ever owned a business.
So you're a generational.
You're
starting. It starts with you.
Yeah, and this ain't just no fly-by business. I actually run a successful business.
I know that's why. Say that again.
And this ain't no fly-by business. I actually run a successful business. And like I said, it's actually, like I said, my phone rang. It wakes me up. I got to cut it off at night. My business is very successful, and I know it's not going anywhere. I'm not being conceited. I'm very humble. I'm very grateful. But I would not let nobody brainwash me and have me thinking that I didn't put a lot of time in it. I know I put blood, sweat, tears, doo-doo, and all in my business. Excuse my language.
That ain't no language. You good?
I'm just giving it real. I put it all in my business to get where I'm at today. I done been through countless of relationships. I mean, I can't even tell you how many relationships I done been through because of my dream and my determination. Is that, hey man, I hate to say this, sweetheart, but if you can't ride beside me, you can't ride behind me, and you definitely can't ride in front of me. We're gonna ride together. So I mean, a lot of sacrifices, friends, family, sacrifices, to get where I'm at today, and all of that, all in a bowl, it's come out with an S. It's successful.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to have a love and a passion.
You have to love what you do.
I'm in love with my business.
Then you never feel like you're working. I know I love what I do.
I love it.
I tell people, find your passion and turn it into income.
Yeah. and you know what? The most fulfilling feeling is when somebody gets in one of my cars and they say, "Sir, do you like what you do?" I like, yeah, I like it. They said, "You like driving?" I said, "Yeah." They like, "Man, How long you been driving for this company? I swear I've been owning it for about 30 years. Like, owning it. He said, hold on. You Dupree? You Mr. Dupree? Oh man, I want to jump in the front seat so bad. Man, I actually met the Dupree. Let me ask you something, Mr. Dupree. You don't sound like this over the phone, man. You sound so old and so serious on the phone. And I've been around with you for all these many months, man. I did not realize it was you. Listen, man, I applaud you for not being like most conceited business owners and bragging. And man, you can get in there, man. You act like you really is a taxi driver. You the owner for real. I mean, they be blown away, babe.
Yeah,
they're like, man,
you're picked up by the owner because they expect you to send your drivers out, but you are still very involved in what you do.
100%
should be
100%. I even asked. I have actually been asked several times. Man, why you come out here and work? Why you got my work for you? I said, I never told you I ain't got nobody working for me. I got a good crew.
Look, you got people picking up people elsewhere. I'm doing this.
Pick everybody up, and everybody can't pick you up. I got people picking up people elsewhere. I just so happen picking you up at this moment. So
right.
So you gotta have the love, you gotta have the passion, you gotta have the dedication, all to make successful. And don't let nobody rain on your parade. Don't take no wooden nickels and let nobody tell you, man, enough is enough. No. Enough is enough when I say enough.
I know that's right.
And it won't be tomorrow, and it sure won't yesterday.
It won't be tomorrow to show on yesterday.
No.
You are funny. I can't wait. Look, I can't wait to have you back on.
Hey, baby girl, I can't wait to be back. Hey, you got to ask me twice.
So I got your his website where you can reach out to him is www.executiveblackcarservices.com, and you can tell them how they can connect with you on social media. How to reach out to you if they need your services.
Actually, you can reach out to me. Basically, you can Google all my business. I got websites for all my businesses. You can Google Dupree's Transportation and Shuttle Service. You can Google Executive Black Car Services. You can Google DTS, which is short for Dupree's Transportation Services. You can just put in limo. You can Google limo service in the area, black car service in the area, medical transport in the area. You can Google taxi service. I mean, I ain't hard to find. And all that fails, you go right on Facebook, Anthony Dupree.
That's simple.
Yep. And anybody know me? I advertise all my businesses right on my personal page, Anthony Dupree. Or you, like you said, or you can just do old school. Come right straight to my house. Knock on my door. Yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? I ain't no lot community. Hey, I'm hands on. I socialize. Definitely easy to get along with. Nothing changed. I mean, I'm very easy to locate. Like I said, but basically, if you want to just go on my page, Anthony Dupree, or like I said, just Google any type of transportation service, Dupree's Transportation and Courier Service, or Courier Service, DTS, or Executive Black Car Services. I'm there for you.
Y'all heard it. We got a first announcement up here tonight too. So y'all heard something exclusive. If you watching live, share this video. Whatever you're watching, share it. Tag your friends. If you're thinking about starting a business and you think you can't do it, Mr. Dupree just told y'all it's very much possible. So stop shorting yourself. Stop limiting yourself. If you're not around people that are encouraging you to do those things, get a new circle. That's a lot of people's problems. You're in the wrong environment. Wow. It's 7:24. The time went by so fast.
I mean,
if y'all heard that the whole time, this was great. I love this. Like I said, I've known of you, I've seen you, but I definitely did not know your full story, and it was amazing. If you are watching and you want to be a guest, or if you have a topic that you want to be discussed up here, send me an email at jointheroundtable.info@gmail.com, or reach out to me on social media. If you're watching, we're already connected. So just shoot me a message and we can talk about it. Until then, I'll be back next week. Same time, same place, with a different face on this side. Thank you so much, Mr. Dupree.
And likewise. Pleasure all mine. I really enjoyed it. Hey, I want to leave one advice.
Okay.
in life, especially you deal with business, always deal with somebody on your level. Never deal. It's not being conceited. It's just being just straight real. Always deal with somebody on your level. Never deal with a person that's below your level because you cannot relate or they cannot relate to you whatsoever. Always deal with somebody either on your level or above your level. Never below your level because you would never ever come to agreement if they're under your level. They would not be able to relate to you, and you would not be able to relate to them if you want to move forward. So always, every day, if you're gonna pick the phone up, always be somebody above your level or equal to your level if you want to succeed. That's the only way you'll make it.
That's right. You gotta be around people that's always, pushing you up. And it was a great way to close this out tonight.
10-4.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good night. Until next week.
Bye-bye.